Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to our review of the Eufy Omni S2 robot vacuum. After a shaky start with a delayed launch, we finally purchased one and got it into our studio, where we put it through several tests over the last few weeks. In this review, we'll cover the pros and the cons of this new flagship from Eufy, and see at the end whether it landed a spot on our top 20 robot vacuum list. Links are in the description, and let's get started. Starting with the basics. The Omni S2 is a vacuum and mop combo with a roller-style mop and a multifunctional base station. It sits at the top of Eufy's robot vacuum lineup with a price point to match. The S2 is the new flagship after last year's S1 model, which really blew us away with its hard floor cleaning, but it was not strong in our carpet-based tests, and it struggled with driving on thick pile carpet. The S2 model appeared to address the carpet problem with better chassis lifting and a new brush design. Fortunately, that was definitely the case. And that brings us to our first pro. Vacuuming on this model was very strong. The vacuum technology is called the AeroTurbo 2.0, and its official suction rating is 30,000 pascals. The vacuum also has a 5-layer filtration system, which prevents dust from being kicked back into the environment while it cleans. The chassis lifting ability on this robot is much more advanced, and Eufy advertises that it can vacuum carpets up to 2 inches thick, which makes it much more agile on thick rugs than the S1 was. The carpet deep clean test itself was notably much better. For this test, we embed sand into medium pile carpet and measure how much the robot is able to remove. The earlier model was only able to pick up 61%, but the S2 model did better by a wide margin, removing 87% of the sand for a higher than average score. It also did a better job in our pet hair pickup test, where we flattened 2.5-inch hair onto carpet to mimic real-life conditions. The S2 pulled up more than 88% of the hair, which is better than average and way better than the S1. One possible reason for this huge improvement is the newly designed brush system on the S2. There are 2 side brushes, one of which extends to the side to sweep debris from corners. Eufy has adopted a split main brush design they call the Duo Spiral, which has a space in the center to channel hair between them instead of wrapping. This worked flawlessly in our 7-inch hair tangle test, with none of the hair wrapping around the main brush compared to the S1's average score of 26%. It also did well at its main job of sweeping debris of different sizes from the surfaces of both hard floors and carpets, although we did note some scattering of fine debris on hard floors on the first pass. As a nice touch, the vacuum has a built-in fragrance dispenser with 3 scent options. Another pro, and one of the most impressive things about this robot, was its obstacle avoidance. The system on this model uses what Eufy calls the 3D Matrix Eye 2.0, which is a combination of 3D time-of-flight sensors and a single camera with an LED light assist. Eufy claims that the system is able to recognize over 200 obstacles, and its 3D mapping is able to automatically customize cleaning by room type. Between our standard tests and our torture test, the S2 got a perfect score, successfully avoiding 24 out of 24 total objects. The only other robot to ever get a perfect score was last year's Roborock Ceros 10R. The mop features have gotten an upgrade, which is a pro. The S2 has Eufy's HyperStream 2.0 roller mop. This is a continuous cleaning mop design, where fresh water sprays onto the roller and dirty water is squeegeed into a dirty water tank. This mop style is great for liquid spills, because instead of spreading wet messes around on the floor like traditional pads can, the mop actually removes them. It's increased its spinning rate to 240 RPM, and it scrubs with a downward pressure of 15 newtons. The S2 can also pick up the roller 28 millimeters over carpet. This means it can vacuum and mop a mixture of hard floors and carpets in a single run, but it can also be programmed to avoid carpets entirely for further carpet protection if you prefer. The dock for this model is a pro. The Omni S2 comes with what Eufy calls the Uniclean station. The station is very tall compared to other brands, so it has a narrower footprint and a more ergonomic design, so you don't have to bend over as much during maintenance. The clean water in the dock is electrolyzed, which has a slight sanitizing effect for both mopping and mop washing. The dock is responsible for cleaning the mop roller with 140 degree Fahrenheit water, which is 60 degrees Celsius, and it dries the roller at 131 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 55 Celsius. The dock auto-doses detergent into the mopping water, and a built-in LCD display and touchscreen shows the status in real time. It supports fast charging, and the disposable bag in the dock's dustbin can hold up to 68 days of debris. Eufy's app is a pro. It's generally well-liked, with good reviews on both Android and iOS, and it has a fair amount of features for managing the robot and cleaning settings. The app supports 3D mapping and multi-floor maps, room editing like no-go zones and no-mop zones, and customized cleaning settings. Although the robot does have a camera, it's not accessible from the app, so there are no live video features. The robot can be integrated with third-party voice assistants, and it's compatible with Matter Smart Home Protocol. Moving on to the cons. Most of these are not huge hits against the Omni S2, but they were average or below average and are worth mentioning, especially this first one. While the features are more advanced than the Mop of the original S1, this is one area where the S2 did not perform as well as its predecessor. In our Mop Stain Test, the S2 only got 82 points, which is about 20% under the average, while the S1 Pro got a much higher than average score. When we assessed how much water the Mop put out, it was also much lower than the average. While we do like to see this, because too much water can lead to streaking, it doesn't always help a robot succeed in the stain tests. While it did well enough to get a higher than average combined Mop score, it was a drop from the S1 score. There are not a lot of user reviews on this product because it's still young, but we've seen some similar comments on Reddit where the mopping results have seemed a little mixed. Navigation was another place where we didn't see the performance we expected. The efficiency on the S2 was lower than the average and much lower than the S1 model. Battery efficiency was very close to the average, but when we consider the navigation and the battery life together, this model did have a lower than average estimated square feet per charge. Since this was an area where the S1 had done pretty well, it was a noticeable dip. The robot does support recharge and resume and fast charging in the base station, so it's possible this won't be a deal breaker for many users, but if you have a large floor plan, it is something to consider. Finally, threshold climbing has increased on this model, in addition to the chassis lifting, which is a good thing. It's rated to cross single thresholds of 35 millimeters and double thresholds to 42 millimeters. But in our single threshold test, the robot crossed 32 millimeters only once out of 3 attempts. So if you have a lot of complex room dividers or tracking doors in your home, you might not want to expect too much from it. The S2 did perform well in our studio tests, and it landed a spot pretty high up in our top 20 robot vacuum list at the time of testing. The carpet performance improved considerably, and its flawless obstacle avoidance is a big advantage for this model. However, the mopping performance did dip, so this is something that you'll want to take into consideration if you have mostly hard floors. To see this and all our favorite robot vacuums, be sure to check out our top 20 robot vacuum list on our website. Competition between robot vacuums is really tough this year, and users will likely want to make their decisions based on a robot's individual strengths, and not just where they rank on the top product lists. To help, we have a comparison tool on our website where you can see how every robot we've tested ranks in a side-by-side comparison. You can check out how robots did in carpet cleaning, mopping, smart features, and everything else that we highlight in our video reviews and more. We purchase every robot that we test, so you know you're always getting our real opinions based on our own independent test results. Don't forget to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you go. Thanks for watching. Vacuum Wars independently tests new vacuums year-round, and the links in the description are updated regularly to reflect our latest top picks across multiple categories. You'll also find detailed rankings on the Vacuum Wars website, including our top 20 robot vacuums, top cordless vacuums, and more. Every review here is unsponsored, just honest results. Subscribe so you never miss one, and tap the next video to keep watching.